Good morning and welcome to Market Opening on our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today TV. Just after 9 and we're here to get you ahead of the curve as markets kick off trading for the day. Let's take you through what's hot in the corporate and financial space this morning. Asian markets trending lower as the Trump administration and the opposition fail to reach a deal to avoid budget shutdown of the US government. Without a deal, a shutdown will start from the 1st of October. Trump to meet top Democratic leaders tonight. Any shutdown will also delay the release of critical US economic data. Donald Trump could soon slap tariffs on imports of electronic devices. Reports say the US is considering tariffs based on the number of chips in each device in its big push to bring manufacturing home. The tariff could be a percentage of the estimated value of the chips in the device. Tata Capital gears up for this year's largest IPO. The more than 16,000 crore rupee issue will open for subscription on the 6th of October. Price band set at 310 to 326 rupees per share. Join Business Today TV for more details on the Tata Capital issue at 12 noon today. Wonder weight loss drug Ozempic granted approval for use in India. Central Drug Standard Control Organization allows the Novo Nordisk formulation to be used for type 2 diabetes and to aid diet and exercise in weight loss. It will compete with Eli Lilly's Mounjaro in the segment. All right, let's take a look at the global setup overnight. As you can see, Trump clearly keeping everything in pause mode right now as we await critical data. Markets back home also have now seen successive profit booking with almost 16 lakh crores lost in market cap over the last 6 odd sessions or so. Overnight on Wall Street or since Friday night, we've seen just a marginal uptick across the board there on the S&P, Dow and Nasdaq. Asia this morning is quieter. If we take a look on that front, with I think only the Nikkei that's marginally about 7/8% lower, a little bit of a steeper cut, while the rest is partially in the green right now. Okay, so that's what the global setup is looking like. But back home on the pre-Nifty, let's pull that up for you as well. Shell, it's indicating a gap up opening, just a marginal uptick, but it seems that momentum or sentiment is still undecided on which way markets should be moving.
Good morning, Abha, and a very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on a fresh start as far as a week is concerned. We are on the 29th, and therefore the last 2 sessions of September take root. Abha, last week we lost about 690 points on the Nifty, 5 succession days of fall. So today there is going to be a mean reversion, probably held by Reliance Industries, which is the second weighted, highest weighted counter on the markets as far as the Nifty is concerned. Apart from that, there is hectic activity all around. So if you ignore the Nifty, but you look at PSU banks, look at defense counters, look at auto shares, auto ancillaries, there is a veritable bull market up and running from there. So value buying, festive spirit may enthuse traders on the long side. One negative that I see is that last week crude oil prices actually rose 5.2%. So that could be a dampener, but great auto numbers are expected on 1st of October, and that will spark a fresh rally. Abha, take my word for it. Look at auto, look at auto ancillaries, PSU banks, defense counters. Abha.
Okay. Well, we're always looking forward to seeing those bright spots of green on the screen, and auto clearly has been making a lot of headway in the last month or so. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks in news this morning as well. Oil India, natural gas discovery at Vijayapuram, 2 exploratory wells that they've discovered. Lemon Tree Hotels has announced a leadership rejig effective 1st of October. Patanjali Keswani has been named Executive Director and Chairman. Nilendra Singh has been appointed MD. Chambal Fertilizers has been hit with over 500 crore rupee GST penalty. Keep an eye on that one. Might see a bit of a hit there this morning. HDFC Bank Dubai branch was barred by the DFSA from onboarding new clients. Management, however, says the impact is minimal. And Power Grid has approved a 705 5 crore investment in grid communication and emergency infrastructure. Keep an eye on that one as well. Meanwhile, Jindal Steel, the company commissioned a 5 MTPA blast furnace at its Angul plant in Odisha, and Lupin, via its Netherlands unit Nanomi BV, will be acquiring 100% of Visu Pharma BV for almost 2,000 crores. Alchem Lab, meanwhile, has signed a business transfer agreement with subsidiary Alchem Wellness to transfer trade generic business as well. And we have a few more on that list, and that continues. Pharma, of course, just to touch base on that, Shell, because last week we saw a lot of jitters, a lot of shakiness on pharma majors, and while brokerages have come out and shared that the impact will be minimal, do we expect to see any kind of follow through this Monday?
No, Abha, I think you'll have a value buying coming back into the pharma space. Remember, this is on branded pharma, which the US has imposed a fresh 100% tariff on imports. Indian pharma is mostly generic. We send about $10 billion worth of pharma exports to the US. The only two stocks that I think will be in problem will be Sun Pharma and Biocon. They have a lot of branded products going into America. So I believe that was a knee-jerk reaction. Keep an eye out for Aurobindo Pharma. Keep an eye out for Glenmark. They are very high beta counters in the pharma space. They should rebound. Abha.
All right, so that's touching base on some of those pharma names as well. You mentioned Reliance, Shell. I want to just come back to that, because when you see it moving the markets, is that purely from a technical standpoint, or do you see certain factors stacking up in order to get that back in focus this Monday morning?
Wonderful question, Abha. I think over the last 7 trading sessions, you saw Reliance lose from 1385 all the way down to 1366. And we are bang on 200-day moving average, also 365-day moving average. So therefore, a bounce is expected on Reliance. As far as today's market is concerned, it's open 4 rupees in the pre-open, higher at 1381. Keep an eye out on Reliance.
All right. Dhananjay Sinha also joining us this morning. Dhananjay, start of a fresh week. What's the index and the setup looking like to you?
So I think we have seen, last one and a half weeks, there has been a consistent sort of correction. I think the global context has been quite adverse. We all know with the protectionism expanding to services as well in pharma, etc. So I think that is something that has actually weighed on the market, and we've seen rupee also depreciating. Earlier on, I think there was some positive momentum that had happened because of the GST reduction and all. So I think that has actually whittled in front of all these developments. I would say going forward, what markets might be looking at is what is the outlook for the Q2 results, and whether there are positive surprises or not, especially in the context of how companies are adjusting to the GST initial adjustment with respect to GST rationalization and all. So I would say that that is what what markets might be looking at this juncture. It doesn't look like a very strong Q2 numbers. Market is expecting a better second half. So I think that is what the context is for the market at this juncture.
All right. Well, we're just a couple of minutes away from opening bell. Let me take you through a few other stocks and news that we'll be tracking. Shriram Finance has been looking to invest 300 crores via rights issue in its subsidiary Shriram Overseas to strengthen capital base. So keep an eye out on Jindal Steel today. Keep an eye out on Shriram Finance. We've got Chambal Fertilizer in the news as well on the back of the tax hit. So a few of these names perhaps that might react. PG Electroplast subsidiary has acquired a 50-acre site in Sri City, Andhra Pradesh. That's 1,000 crores. So also keep an eye on that one. Godrej Agrovet has signed an MOU with the Ministry of Food Processing Industries as well. That's a proposed investment of 960 crore rupees. So lots of stocks in news this morning. We've also got key events that we'll be watching out for this week. Remember, the RBI policy is on the 1st of October, and that, of course, will continue to trigger a lot of interest around its rate outlook and also on the liquidity front. And the US-India trade deal development will also be tracked closely. We've been on that constantly, in fact. 2nd October will be a market holiday for Dussehra and Gandhi Jayanti, so it's a truncated week. just hitting the opening bell now this morning. Let's take a look. Are we in the green as we kick off trading this Monday? Yes, as anticipated, 24,705 on the Nifty as we speak. Nifty Bank also has opened in the green. Let's quickly pull up some of those gainers and losers for you. See how we're standing today as we begin fresh trading for a week. Auto continuing to look positive as we count down to sales data, which is likely to be great for the festive season. Lots of gainers across the board. BEL back in action. Zomato continues to trend strong. We've got Tata Motors up over 1% right now. So some of the gainers there on the Nifty for you. Pull up a few more. Cipla, M&M, Geofin also making up that list of gainers right now. In fact, a lot of green on the screen. Shriram Finance, we were just talking about that on the back of news. Apollo Hospitals also has been on the news lately. Some of the consumer majors slightly slower this morning. HDFC Bank 0.5% down, even though has said the impact of the Dubai branch news is really likely to be minimal. So some of those stocks there. Looks, Shell, from first glance, that advanced decline ratio is skewed towards the positive.
Yes, Abha, absolutely well said. It's a fairly decent start as far as markets are concerned after 5 successive days of very heavy selling. So 1633 shares in the green versus 650 in the red. Yeah. We tracked 19 indices, 18 are in the green, led by the Nifty Energy Index, and I'm very curious to see what Reliance is doing. Remember, this was the first stock that we marked as far as the heavyweights are concerned. What you see as far as prices are concerned is Reliance also in the green, and of course, as you rightly mentioned, BEL is the top gainer in the Nifty. This is an order win for about 30,000 crore rupees, which came over the weekend. So 403 as far as BEL is concerned. Broader markets are looking good. All-time highs, nothing much to talk about, but strong traction coming in the early part of the market. Abha.
All right, looking good. Dhananjay, we are watching out for, the RBI's rate outlook. We're watching out for key macro data, industrial production, as well as the HSBC PMI manufacturing data as well to guide market sentiment. You did already give me some of the macro factors you're looking forward to. But from a liquidity standpoint, how do you really see things shaping up as we move ahead this week?
So I think liquidity scenario is very critical from a broader markets perspective, because if you look at the ratio of lakh balance to bank deposit, there does seem to be a sort of a correlation with the broader market valuation. If you look at small cap to large cap of Nifty relative valuation. So whenever there is a surplus liquidity, the valuations for the broader markets rise. So in the current context, what we find is that RBI had actually front-loaded liquidity. They had announced CRR cut, which is about to be implemented. I would say that while that is happening, the currency depreciation, the rupee intervention is neutralizing that liquidity. Also, we are seeing that the CD ratio, credit deposit ratio of banks have actually started to rise as banks and RBI encourage leverage consumption. So I think it's quite likely that the liquidity will dry out in the second half, and it's already showing up. And as a result of that, the yields have actually gone up despite the rate cuts and CRR cuts. So I think I would say we'll need to see more actions from RBI for liquidity infusion. And at this juncture, it does look like with the RBI trying to contain the rupee depreciation around 89 levels. I think there can be a drain on liquidity. So I think the liquidity scenario looks to be getting a little tighter as we go forward.
All right, so that's sounding like a bit of a squeeze. In light of that, Dhananjay, would you still be looking at certain picks from the financial basket? Would you be looking instead at perhaps some of the mid-tier financiers from a retail consumption POV? Where are you looking, or are you actually holding fort and being a little cautious?
So I think, see, of course, there is a likelihood of more leverage spending that will happen from lenders. So I would say that it's better to really look at sectors that will benefit from leverage spending. So I think the most proximate sector that comes to my mind is auto. It has been doing fairly well. So the entry level cars such as Maruti. If you look at two-wheelers, the entire pack will continue to show better volume growth going forward. I would say even tractors. I would say those are the sectors who benefit from leverage spending. Of course, select financiers such as Bajaj Finance and other retail lenders can actually gain traction as far as overall leveraging is concerned. I would say even HDFC, ICICI Bank, and we have come up with a thematic note which talks about PSU banks selectively can actually do well in the current context. So I would say my pecking order will be more in favor of consumption themes, leverage consumption theme, rather than on financials. But yeah, we can look at selectively in the financial space as well.
All right, let's come back to some of the other consumption majors that are looking a little weak today, but just in a moment. First, let's focus on Pharma. India's drug regulator, the CDSCO, has cleared the way for Novo Nordisk blockbuster diabetes drug Ozempic, best known globally for its off-label use in weight loss. The long-awaited approval opens doors for one of the world's fastest-growing pharma markets, India. Ozempic joins its fiercest global competitor, Mounjaro, which was given approval back in March. Let's go across to Neetu Chandra for more on this. Neetu, take us through all the details. When did the approval come in? What does it mean?
Yeah, Abha, so the India's drug regulator has approved this Ozempic. It happened on Friday, so the CDSCO came up with a notification that they have approved this drug strictly for diabetes. So understanding it scientifically, Ozempic belongs to the GLP-1 receptor agonist class, so which improves blood sugar control, and it is also linked with significant weight loss benefits. So however, in India, the approval is strictly for diabetes management, and globally, Ozempic has gained huge visibility because of its off-label use, as you mentioned, for the weight reduction. So which is why it is often in short supply in the other markets. So for Novo Nordisk, this approval is very it's significant because it already markets Wegovy in India for obesity. However, this is for, I would again repeat myself, this is again for diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So while the company already markets Wegovy in India for obesity, and now with the Ozempic entering, the company is strengthening its portfolio across both diabetes and obesity. However, more clinical trials are on the way, and this approval is expected to intensify the competition in the fast-growing GLP segment in India, because Eli Lilly is already there. It launched this GLP-1 and the GIP receptor agonist. It's both for diabetes and obesity in India in March 2025. So this is intensifying competition for the company. And, the company has not given any timeline for the launch of this drug, but certainly we have spoken to the management and they are very hopeful that this will also capture the market in India, because India has a growing diabetes as well as obesity burden, since it is also being used in the West for weight loss. So the company is highly hopeful that it will gain market in the Indian region as well.
All right, thank you for that, Neetu. Let's go back to seeing how we're doing in opening trade, and it looks like some pain perhaps felt on HUL share. Let me come to you on that. Top loser on the FNO side. While we are looking at other consumption bets, some of the FMCG majors are still looking a little quiet. Perhaps at the more mass end of consumption, things are still to move.
Absolutely, Abha. And it's really disappointing if you look at the chart of Hindustan Unilever. In this kind of environment where GST cuts have come in, you see the stock below 200-day DMA, below 365-day DMA. It was at 27.53 on 4th of September. And what you see now is 24.55. It's a massive correction that's come in. Let's hope that this major moving average holds as far as markets are concerned, and that the monthly close is fairly sensible on the monthly charts. But weakness on Hindustan Unilever, top FNO loser, top Nifty loser, 2.5% lower. Scattered market, but telecom is doing pretty well. Remember, just last week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had actually inaugurated a BSNL setup for 4G connectivity. So HFCL is doing good. Tejas Networks is doing good. These are telecom product providers as far as markets are concerned. And of course, there's no stopping BEL, Abha.
BEL continues to move. But I actually want to get Dhananjay's take on some of the Q-commerce companies, simply because it's festive, Dhananjay, and a lot of them are just riding on pure momentum there. Even though we're still waiting for numbers to pick up, they've been a little sluggish, as per recent trends, but the market's definitely counting on festive momentum. What's your take when it comes to that pocket of the market?
So I think, you see, the thing is, as far as the consumer staple companies are concerned, I think it will take some time for them to really, adjust the entire price, correction that needs to happen. And as a result of that, the volume response will be more back-ended. So I think the commentary from HUL has been on the conservative side. They are basically talking about a sort of unchanged performance compared to last quarter. In the second quarter, I think that sort of sets up a sort of a background for rest of the FMCG pack. So I think initially the market had been expecting a significant upsurge. I think that expectation has moderated. I think the price elasticity is also much lesser for staple companies if you look at the volume growth. So I think the FMCG pack might actually be late participant in this rally. I would say discretionary spending such as auto and all can respond much better. So I think that is what the thing is panning out. Yeah.
All right. And in fact, I just want to pull up names like a Zomato, for instance, and just take a look, because on the quick commerce side, we're actually seeing a lot of momentum ahead of festive season, and also on auto specifically, apart from the fact that we're awaiting those monthly numbers. Let's pull up Tata Motors for you, because on the news buzz and the loan from the British government there, that particular one is also moving well, and has been, in fact, the last few sessions as well. So keep an eye on Tata Motors. I'm afraid that's about all the time we have on the show this morning. Dhananjay, Shell, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your inputs as well. Do join us once again as we take a look at closing trade later in the day at 3:30. Thanks for joining.